Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting of the Pinal Active Management Area Groundwater Users Advisory Council to order. Today is Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. The time is now 10:02. I am William Collins, the chair, and at this point in time, I'd like to call the roll of the members that are present. We'll start with Mr. Stephen Miller.
Present.
Mr. Brian Hartman.
Present.
Mr. Brian Rhodes. Mr. Scott Riggins. We have 3 members present. That is a quorum. So we will move on to let's have the AMA staff go ahead and introduce yourselves. I know we have some new names and faces there. So if you could introduce yourselves, identify what your role is briefly, I appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. My name is Taylor Pearson, and I am the AMA Programs Team Supervisor, overseeing our GUAC coordinator, our WMAP Fund coordinator, as well as our IGFR conveyances and relinquishments.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. My name is Tommy Maja. I am the WMAP grant coordinator, and I manage the WMAP funds and the groundwater conservation grant fund.
Good morning. My name is David French. I'm the AMA director.
And good morning. My name is Rebecca Burnett. I am not AMA staff, but I'm ADWR. I'm the manager of the Arizona Water Banking Authority.
All right. Well, thank you all for the introductions. Let's move on to item number 2, which is the meeting logistics with presentation by Ms. Taylor Pearson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And good morning, everyone. Before we get started, I would like to go over some webinar logistics. Thank you, members of the council and the public, for adopting to a virtual setting today. Due to new staffing coming abroad on the AMAs here, having a virtual setting was the most efficient way to host these meetings this round. We do see value in having these in person for both the council members and the public, and will hope to do that in the future here. And members of the public, we ask that you please keep your audio muted during the meeting. This helps reduce any audio feedback. If during the meeting you have a question, please feel free to type your question in the chat box, and they will be read and addressed at the end of each agenda item. If you would like to speak to the council, the call to the public will be the time to do so. Please indicate in the chat that you would like to speak, and we will unmute you at that time. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted to ADWR's website and YouTube page once the recording is generated. If you are having any technical difficulties, please contact our help desk. Their contact information can be found here on the screen. If you would like to be added to the GUAC mailing list, please email myself at tpearson@azwater.gov, and please indicate which email you would like to be added and specify which AMA so I can add you to the correct list there. Presenters, please ask for the next slide when presenting your agenda item. In order to allow time for questions and to ensure that every agenda item is heard, please keep your presentation to 10 minutes. I will provide a 1-minute warning as you approach the end of your time. Thank you. That is all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. I would also mention that if there's any audience members that are interested in introducing themselves, to please type their name and affiliation into the chat box. With that, let's move on to item number 3, which is the Arizona Banking Authority. And if Ms. Burnett would go ahead and do her presentation, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Collins, members of the council, and Dr. Rebecca Burnett. I'm the manager of the Arizona Water Banking Authority, and I'm here to present to you the preliminary plan of operation of the Water Banking Authority for calendar year 2026. On September 10th, the commission of the Arizona Water Banking Authority directed me and my staff to present this preliminary plan to the Groundwater Users Advisory Council. We are seeking questions and comments from the council and also from the public today. And any feedback we receive will be incorporated into our final plan of operation. Next year will be in a tier 1 shortage, so there will be a 512,000 acre-foot reduction to Arizona entitlement of the Colorado River. So as you all know, it means that there will be no excess CAP water available. This is the water that we will use to store. So it will not be available next year. As you also know very well, there won't be any CAP water from the ag pool available, and there will be a portion of the CAP NIA pool that will be impacted next year, which will trigger our obligation to firm the Gila River Indian community. So as I was saying, we won't be able to store any water next year. However, we are able to develop credits through other means. We will purchase intentionally created surplus from the Gila River Indian community that is pursuant to our IGA with the community. And we also intend to purchase long-term storage credits if we have the opportunity. So here we're looking at our estimated funding for next year with withdrawal fees that we'll collect in the Phoenix AMA. We will spend $373,000 to develop 1,157 intentionally created surplus firming credits. And after this purchase, we'll have fulfilled our IGA with the community, meaning that there won't be any more ICS for us to purchase. With the remaining withdrawal fees that we'll have in the Phoenix AMA, and also with any withdrawal fees that we'll collect in the Tucson AMA, we intend to purchase long-term storage credits. We are currently looking for opportunities. However, we currently do not have agreements to purchase long-term storage credits next year. So overall, we're looking at perhaps spending a little under $2 million to develop a little over 4,000 credits. So as I was saying, the shortage next year will trigger our firming obligation for the Gila River Indian community. Based on CWCD estimates, we calculated this firming, and it is anticipated to be 10,281 acre feet. And we consulted with the community, and we agreed that for next year, as we've done in the past, we are going to extinguish firming credits. And so this is what you're seeing in this table. We have in the past, when water was available, we have sent water, stored water on reservation from 2015 to 2018. And so every year we've been extinguishing this credit to firm the community. And so that's what we intend to do next year. And after that, we'll have 1,119 acre feet of firming credits remaining on our account to firm the community for the following years. The shortage will not impact the CEP-MNI pool, so there will be no firming from the Water Banking Authority to CEP-MNI subcontractors, and we will not be firming Mojave County Water Authority either. And for 2026, there has been no request for the creation of intentionally created unused apportionment for Southern Nevada Water Authority. We anticipate creating those ICUA starting in 2028. So here's a summary of all of the credits that we have, how many we anticipate in that second column having at the end of this year, and then in the estimated credits used in 2026 column, you can see that we anticipate deducting using a little over 10,000 Fermi credits for the Gila River Indian community. And also we are showing in the table an exchange that we anticipate doing between the Pinal and the Phoenix AMA. This is pursuant to our 2019 agreement that was made during DCP. There were many entities located in the Phoenix AMA and one in the Tucson AMA that agreed to store water in the Pinal AMA, and so they generated credits. That generated credits, and we agreed to exchange those credits so those entities would be able to recover their credits in their AMA. So that's why we have one more entity that has not requested the exchange, not yet. So that's why we will receive credits, the credits they have in the Pinal AMA, and in exchange, we will give them our credits that we currently have in the Phoenix AMA. So that's the 6,650 acre-foot exchange on the slide. And that is the end of my presentation, and I'm happy to answer questions and take comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Burnett. Do any of the members have any questions for Dr. Burnett? Hearing none, thank you, Dr. Burnett, for your presentation. And we'll move along to item number 4, which is the Water Management Assistance Program WMAP update by Mr. Diatmadja. I'm sorry if I butchered your name.
It's okay. Diatmadja, yes. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, council members and members of the public. I will be going over the Water Management Assistance Program fund balance, the status of the WMAP and DCP groundwater conservation grant projects, and introduce the projects that are renewing, new projects that are requesting funding, and those that are completed. So the current balance is $217,331. Of that, 60,000 is committed, leaving a balance of 157,331. If Natural Resources Education Center of NREC is renewed at the same amount as before, which is at 30,000, it would add 30,000 to the encumbered or committed amount, totaling to 90,000 of encumbered or committed balance, and it would also reduce the remaining balance to $127,331. Renewing Irrigation Management Services, or IMS, will add 135,000 to the encumbered or committed amount, and renewing Pinal County Water Augmentation Authority, or PQA, will add 200,000 to the encumbered or committed amount. Please note that PQA has been funded for 200,000 for fiscal year 2024-2025 in July 2025. At the withdrawal fee rate that was decided on for fiscal year 2025, we expect to collect about $372,255 after March 31st, 2026. Fiscal year 2025-2026 PQA fund and IMS contract renewal will be paid out after this withdrawal fund deposit. Thus, we project the fund to be at $164,586 after the reporting season deadline and funding NREC at $30,000, PQA and IMS. Now, NREC has expressed desire to request an additional $10,000 for a grand total of $40,000 in funding. If renewed at this amount, it would reduce the remaining balance after NREC to $117,331 and change the projected April 2026 fund balance to be $154,586. So on the screen is a chart of the WMAP fees collected for the past 5 years. The fee for the first 4 years has been 65 cents per acre foot and was raised to 70 cents per acre foot for 2025. The water bank / irrigation efficiency fund is at $2.35 for a grand total of $3.05 per acre foot. So projects that are currently funded with the WMAP funds are the Irrigation Management Service, the Natural Resource Education Center, and the Pinal County Water Augmentation Authority. Oh, sorry. Two of the projects, namely the Irrigation Management Service and the Natural Resources Education Center, will be presenting for their renewal today. Next, I will give you an update on the groundwater conservation grant. All but one of the projects have been completed. The one project still ongoing is the leak detection equipment replacement project. Next, I have included our projections for WMAP funds. In this slide, we can see the projection of the WMAP fund balance after the WMAP fees are increased from 65 cents per acre foot to 70 cents per acre foot, starting on the year 2025, and if NREC's funding is kept at $30,000. The chart on the right shows the balance projection. The dark blue bars shows the cost of the WMAP legacy contracts. The light blue bars shows the expected WMAP fee per year collected, and the orange line shows the expected WMAP balance. And now this one I have included our projections for WMAP funds if the fee is kept at 70 cents per acre foot, starting in 2025, and NREC receives an additional $10,000. Next, we can see the WMAP fund projection if the WMAP fund had been increased from 60 cents per acre foot to 75 cents per acre foot, starting on the year 2025, and NREC's funding is kept at $30,000. And lastly, we can see the WMAP fund projection if the WMAP fee had been increased from 65 cents per acre foot to 75 cents per acre foot, starting on the year 2025, and NREC receives an additional $10,000 in funding. GUAC council members, you might notice that your WMAP packet might not have all of this detail and projections, but I figured it's easier to explain all of this here in the presentation, but I can make an updated WMAP packet with all this detail included if needed. But yeah, before we move on to the presentation, I'll be happy to take any questions regarding the WMAP funds or the groundwater conservation grants project. Thank you.
Yes, do any of the members have any questions or comments with respect to the presentation as it currently stands? You say, I do have one question for you, and that is, does this factor in the implications of the Ag to Urban program as IGFRs are retired, less money is collected from the pumping?
This projection does not specifically include that element. This is a projection based on the historical withdrawal rates.
And say, because one of the concerns I had is that we've had a decline in monies collected over the last 3 years. running at about 3.25%, 3.5% reduction each year. So I'm concerned that when you factor in the extinguishment of or conversion of the IFGRs, that we might end up with a problem collecting sufficient funds down the road.
And I do not have a specific projection of like rate of savings due to the Ag to Urban program, but I can see if that information has been calculated and follow up on that for you.
Yeah, I think that would be good to know, especially going forward next year, as to whether we need to make some adjustments in the peat collection. Are there any other questions from anyone with respect to this current presentation? Hearing none, if we're ready, then we'll move on to item number 5 for the WMAP contract renewals. And we will start with Mr. Eduardo Enriquez with the Natural Resources Conservation District. Eddie, you're up.
Good morning, GUAC. Good morning, GUAC, ADWR staff and public. Next slide. Okay, the Irrigation Management Service is a program formed in 1987 by the cooperative efforts of the three Natural Resource Conservation Districts: Eloy NRCD, West Pinal NRCD, Florence Coolidge NRCD, and the help of NRCS and ADWR. The purpose of the program was to help producers in the Pinal AMA determine the most effective techniques to achieve maximum irrigation efficiency on existing irrigation systems. Okay. That's just a little history there. In fiscal year 2025, IMS did 14 standard evaluations. A standard evaluation is initial event irrigation system performance analysis. We make recommendations to improve irrigation water management, information about irrigation scheduling and techniques, and we discuss fundamentals and effective irrigation water management techniques with each grower and cooperator. And a follow-up visit is made later on that year. We also did 6 seasonal evaluations. The seasonal evaluation is all of the service provided in the standard evaluation, except we do the full the crop season, and we educate the farmer and field staff on irrigation formulas, irrigation scheduling, crop curves, water measurements, and how to analyze irrigation system performance. Since it's a seasonal thing, we do a lot of follow-up visits throughout the year. IMS provides the farmer with educational resources and techniques to save water. With the demand for water being high during the middle of the summer, it is important to be able to make adjustments to stay efficient. With the flow changes and stuff, it isn't like it used to be, where you could order 10 CFS and always get 10 CFS. Sometimes you'll get 7, 6, 7 CFS, and the irrigator needs to know how to be able to make adjustments to stay efficient, and that's what we do to educate him. Next slide.
Sorry there, Eddie. It looks like the slides crashed. I'm getting those up right now.
Okay, no worries. I'll just continue. The Irrigation Management Service goal is to help the farmer fine-tune their irrigation scheduling, whether it's adjusting irrigation day, and according to plant water needs at the time. What we try to do is gain a day here, a day there, and by fine-tuning their scheduling, and at the end of the season, you you save a full irrigation, which is where your savings comes in. We also did 4 turf evaluations at turf farms and parks. Another thing we do is we help ADWR with the Best Management Practices program. This past year, we have a total of 170 total farm units, about 80,000 acres. In February and March, IMS held 4 cooperator meetings, workshops. One out at Maricopa Sandfield Irrigation Drainage District, Central Arizona Irrigation Drainage District, and the San Carlos Irrigation Drainage District in Coolidge, and also at the NRCS office there in Casa Grande. At these meetings, we review cooperators' previous year's BMP practices and make any updates to any changes. We assist the producer with their scheduled BMP forms for their annual report, and we look at upcoming crop schedules. We also do new signups during that time. We meet with all of our producers periodically through the season to collect data verifications on what they signed up for the BMPs and put it on their file. IMS also works closely with the NREC, with irrigation water management on the farm and control of weeds and tillage and planting and irrigation at their facility. And we also do IWM for NRCS for EQIP program. And that's about that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. Do any of the members have any questions for Eddie with respect to his presentation? Hearing none, we'll move on to the presentation by the Natural Education Center. And Ms. Jennifer Salido, you're up.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Okay, good. Good. Okay. Good morning, Chairman Collins and members of the council. It's good to be with you all again. My goal for this presentation is to inform you of NREC's 24-25 happenings, our work, and NREC's 25-26 goals and scope of work. Next slide. Most of you are familiar. Our natural resource education mission is to educate and inspire an appreciation for nature, renewable natural resources, ag practices, in order to conserve, reuse, and upcycle for future use. So how do we do that? Our program, we go into classrooms across the county. We do classroom presentations. We invite students and adults out to our facilities out at Central Arizona College, our farm at the college. We provide field trips, opportunities out at the college, and we also do online presentations. I'd like to note that the online presentations demand is shrinking, and our in-person field trips at CAC are increasing. So that's a great trend to see, that schools are able to come back out for field trips. The numbers are increasing at our field trips. So I just wanted to note that. Next slide, please. For the 24-25 school year, NREC delivered 7 different programs. We run our Veggie Ventures program in the spring, our Water Out West program during the fall, our Ag Ventures Corn Festival during the fall, which I will note that we are scheduling right now. We have a 4-acre cornfield that's planted here at CAC and is looking great. We are excited to have the kids out for that festival this fall. We also run an alfalfa to ice cream dairy program, the 5 C's of Arizona program. an egg program, which we call Let's Get Crackin'. And we have a new program, Desert Plants of the Sonoran Desert, that we take into the classrooms. And that program is for all grade levels, all ages. The other programs are age specific, and we run one program every month. So each month we're running one of those programs throughout the year. Next slide. So our 24-25 attendance numbers were very exciting. We were very excited to see our grand finale. We were able to present to 9 different Pinal County school districts. We are anticipating that we will have those 9 school districts this year with the addition of Picacho and Red Rocks. So that will increase our reach to 11 Pinal County school districts. Our grand total of numbers reached, we reached 4,279 students, 272 adults, for a grand total of 11,000 natural resource educational hours. And we're pretty proud of that. Next slide. So I just wanted to give you a little history. I don't think I've mentioned this in my previous presentations, but this graph just shows our attendance numbers. Of course, in 2020, that was COVID. And so you can see the increase since COVID. And we anticipate this year our goal is 5,000 reached. So we will work hard to get to that number. Next slide. Natural Resource Education Center is a 100% grant funded program. We are supported by the 3 NRC districts, the West Pinal NRCD, the Eloy NRCD, and the Florence Coolidge NRCD. Along with their help, we are supported by the Arizona Department of Water Resources, Gila River Indian Community, and the Pinal 40 group. Next slide. Oh, I would like to mention that I am continually writing new grants to increase our funding. We currently have 3 other grants in waiting to hear results from that. So I just want to mention that. We're always looking for other sources of support. I did mention we're sponsored by 3 conservation districts, and we are now overseen by the Arizona Association of Conservation Districts. That is new. Previously, we were overseen by the Arizona State Land Department. That has been turned over to the Arizona Association of Conservation Districts. Next slide. So of those 7 programs that we run throughout the school year, one of our biggest programs is the Water Out West program. And this is a special program. It's pretty unique here in the state of Arizona. There are, I think, currently about 30 ed centers that are sponsored by the conservation districts throughout the state. Our ed center here in Pinal County is the only ed center that has a mobile water program. And what I mean by that is we have 2 water trailers that we take out with us, and we can take this program on the road, and we can do our water conservation education out on the road at these schools using our water trailers. The curriculum is for kindergarten through 5th graders. It meets state educational standards and STEM standards, and it's built on a lot of these schools participate in the University of Arizona's Project WET in 4th grade. So our program builds on that information with 5th graders. Next slide. You can see here some things that we cover when we go out with our Water Out West program. We also do host at our classrooms at CAC. We also host this program. We cover the water cycle, we cover watersheds, cover rivers and streams, water movement, water history in Arizona, and irrigation practices. Next slide. These are just pictures of our mobile water trailers that we take out on the road. They're great trailers. The kids really enjoy them. Even adults enjoy them. So we've actually had these trailers for 20 plus years. So they take a lot of maintenance, but we keep them going. Next slide. So what are our goals for the 25-26 year? Our scope of work will be to expand our outreach. Like I mentioned, we've already reached out to Red Rock and Picacho school districts to add them to our schedule this year. Of course, we will work hard to maintain our 4-acre farm at Central Arizona College, maintain our water trailers, and we will continue to work with the community and partner with U of A's Project WET program. Our staff volunteers for their many water days that they host throughout the county. We will continue with that. Next slide, please. I want to thank Arizona Department of Water Resources for their continued support. This will be our 29th year in operation at the Natural Resource Education Center, and that's pretty amazing. We'd like to celebrate 30 years. So we are thankful for your continued support, and we ask that you would fund our program for next year. I would like to mention I have requested that we increase the amount from 30,000 to 40,000. That amount, I look back in history and I don't think that amount has increased for at least 15 years. So operating costs, of course, you all know, are quite a bit higher. So that is the reason for the increase. And that is my presentation. Are there any questions?
Members, are there any questions for Jennifer on her presentation? Hearing none. Jennifer, I will mention that it seems to me last year I had suggested that you all might want to increase your ask from the 30,000 that you'd asked to something a little bit higher. So I'm glad to see you've done that.
Well, I appreciate your encouragement.
So Jennifer, thank you for your presentation. That brings us to a discussion of the members with respect to making recommendations for funding for both of these programs. Do the members have any comments or questions with regard to a funding recommendation and funding amounts?
Mr. Chairman, Brian Hartman here.
Yes, Mr. Hartman.
This is 75 cents. I think I saw it. Does that include the increase to the education part? Natural Resource Education Center.
Is someone from ADWR able to respond to that?
So you were asking here on the 75-cent projection, if this is including the additional $10,000 being requested, is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, so this is Tommy. This one shows the projection for if the WMAP fee fund is 75 cents, which I think we've decided on 70 cents. And this specific one does not include it, but the one before this one, I think, yes. So this one is if you keep the fee at 70 cents and you fund an additional $10,000 for NREC.
So that basically shows, this is Chairman Collins, that basically shows a gradual decline over the next 5 years if we stick at the 70 cents.
And then this slide here shows if we were to increase the fee to 75 cents and include the additional funding.
All right. Any other questions, Brian, on that?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, is the director okay with 75 cents? Do we know?
That we will not know until after this meeting here. The council will make the recommendation and then the director makes that decision by October 1st.
Okay.
I guess the other question, Brian, for you, Brian, this is Chairman Collins again, is whether the pumpers, the farm community, would be comfortable with an additional 5 cents added to what they're currently paying.
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, at this time, I can't answer it. You know, other than commodities are low, but we all know, you know, the prices continue to, you know, our costs continue to escalate.
Right, right.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Miller here.
Mr. Miller, go ahead.
You know, I do want to say I think the educational portion of this is very, very valuable. I don't know if there's a way. I just would like to see him increase that amount by 10,000. Understanding the pressure on both the pumpers, and we can predict that there will be less pumping even in the future. So finding this balance, but this educational portion, I think, is probably one of the more valuable things for the future.
Right, and I agree. This is Chairman Collins again. I would agree that, you know, regardless of which fee we stick at, whether it's a 70 or 75, at least for the next several years, even at the 70, we can cover, you know, that increased cost. But it's something we'll need to definitely look into at the next year's meeting.
Yes.
Well, I would accept the motion to renew their contract at the $40,000 level.
Well, I'll make that motion.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Yeah, Supervisor Miller. Increase to the $40,000 on the educational.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that. And does that include, are we going to do the IMS funding separate?
Yes, this is Chairman Collins. Yes, we'll pick that up separately.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second on extending the contract or renewing the contract and funding it at the 40,000 level. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Yes, Brian, let's move on to renewing the MS contract. I didn't see that there was any requested increase in their contract. They currently stand at the 135,000. Eddie, did you want to make any further comments with respect to that funding?
We got an increase last year from 120 to 135, so I figured I'd hold off a little bit because Henrik was doing theirs, and I didn't want to. Get you guys 2 years in a row.
Yes, and I do remember from last year's we had suggested that you bump yours up by a fair amount, so that's good. Then I would accept a motion to approve a new contract with IMS with the current funding rate of 135,000.
Mr. Chairman, this is Brian. I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
This is Supervisor Miller. I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second to or renew the contract with IMS and fund it at the current level of $135,000. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
We are unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Eddie and Jennifer. Appreciate your presentations.
Thank
Let's
you.
move on to item number 6, which is a WMAP project proposal request. And this will be presented by Lisa Townsend and Kirsten Kay. You're welcome to go ahead and do a presentation.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair, council members, ADWR staff, and members of the public. And hi, Jennifer. I'm Lisa Townsend with Arizona Project WET, and with me is Kirsten Kay and Michael Spaeth. And as Jennifer mentioned, we do experiential environmental education, particularly water science and systems outreach across Arizona, but specifically in Pinal County. So what we really are is boots on the ground and utilizing the community to deliver authentic, relevant, and meaningful content to students in the region. Next slide, please. So here's a little bit about who we are and what we do. So we support water stewardship and STEAM literacy by meaningfully engaging educators, students, and community members. And our mission is to make sure that it's relevant, research-based, and there's educational strategies provided for teachers and students and volunteers that really meet the needs and reflect the experience of community members. Really, what we do is we deliver water-focused programming with exceptional skill, thanks to the support of our program partners. And our goal is to meaningfully connect content to participant, whether that participant is a student, a volunteer, or a teacher, and then spur that participant to action. Next slide. So we really talk about water systems and center the participant in the activity as it pertains to them in their everyday life, in their landscape. So as we go through and talk about really what we do in Pinal County, it's going to cover 4 specific areas, and that's the water cycle. And this is where really having that regional expertise is so critical, because Arizona has myriad landscapes. And so here we've got volunteers and teachers and students talking about what things look like in their neighborhood, at their school site, and in their community. So with the water cycle, students track the movement of water. They talk about the form and function of water. And they also reflect on how they fit into the closed system of the water cycle. They also gather insights into their watershed, the exchanges between the elements, and the effect of their impact in the watershed. And students reflect on how their behaviors may help or hinder watershed health. And this is really from a 4th grade perspective. What about their actions and their life is kind of supporting a healthy, sustained water cycle within the watershed, which also includes groundwater, what we all rely on, but you don't readily see. So students manipulate groundwater models to really interpret that connection between groundwater and surface water. And then they also look at what happens as precipitation flows through their watershed and well-pumped groundwater is removed from aquifers. They create the model and then interact with it and draw conclusions about the water table and then the risk of overdraft or subsidence. And then finally, all of this is brought together with water sustainability. And really our goal is to facilitate the students' synthesis of their water cycle, groundwater, and watershed by kind of connecting those challenges and paying attention to their access and their use. Really, what we want to do is build awareness. You know, how are you using water? And where does it come from? And where does it go? And hopefully, and as our survey results have borne out, students and volunteers and teachers are able to make a mindful, sustainable, and practical kind of personal commitment to their water interaction. Next slide. So as Jennifer mentioned, we are out and about in Pinal County. And to give you an idea, last academic year, we had 4 festivals, and that was Casa Grande, Coolidge, Florence, and Maricopa. Across those festivals, we engaged 90 teachers from 25 schools and brought 2,100 students out for a field day. And my teammates and I are kind of going to give you a deeper picture of what that looks like. But if you really want to know what it looks and feels like to be at a water festival, you are in luck, because in about 4 weeks, we're in Coolidge, and in 3 weeks, we're in Florence, and we have volunteer training coming up. And also linked here, you'll find our impact reports that separate that information out. So we have incredible partners and stakeholders, including Abbott Fund, Arizona Water Company, and then myriad school districts and businesses and industry leaders in the region. And what we are also hoping to do is diversify and deepen the reserve of resources, so we can continue to really go anywhere in the county and engage as many teachers, students, and schools as would like to participate.
And can I add to that real quick too? Also, this is Kirsten from Arizona Project WET. We also, part of the community volunteers that we have, we often utilize high school students, which is a great resource because we train them ahead of time so they learn the content as well, but then they actually get to teach the 4th graders. And that's really a win-win, because for some reason, 4th graders think high school students are so much cooler than us adults. And those high school students get that real life experience of teaching and having that connection with those 4th graders. So we are also hoping to grow that program and get more high school students involved, which has been very beneficial on all sides.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kirsten. And
Sure.
If you teach it, you know it. And typically, if you know it, you do it. Next slide, please. So really, the purpose of our program is to educate across the K-12 continuum about the interconnectedness of water resources. And these are some of the items and topics that we cover throughout our content. And this is kind of across the board. And when you're looking at this content is reflected not only in the Arizona Water Festivals, which is delivered to 4th grade students, but also in the teacher professional development that is provided as part of that unit of study, as well as to the community volunteer training. Next slide, please.
And so this is Michael, by the way, outreach coordinator of Arizona Project WET. I actually ran these festivals in the Pinal area this last year, and so here's just a compilation of photos First of all, from Casa Grande, where we're showcasing some images of high school students training and leading our sustainability activity, which is the photo on the top left, where students will actually run a relay in which they carry water through different areas that utilize water and showcase how water is used, wasted, and as they run through this survey or this relay a few times, how they can better reserve and conserve that water as they go through. In the other photos in this, we can actually see students engaging in our groundwater activities. In these cases, it looks like they're led by some of our water use and municipality volunteers. And in this, it really showcases how that connection exists between surface water and groundwater and the impact that has when we're utilizing it. Next slide, please. And so here's just a few pictures from our Coolidge Water Festival from last year. A number of these photos are taken at our water cycle activity area where students actually take on the role of being a water molecule. And after discussing with each other how the water cycle, the different places where water can exist in their specific area, whether that be in lakes, rivers, clouds, soil, groundwater, and what that looks like. Oh, plants, animals, things like that. Of course, not all of us are so lucky to have lakes and rivers, right? But just that general understanding of what that looks like in our neighborhood. They then take on the role of exploring the water cycle by rolling dice and creating bracelets that represent their journey as a water molecule. And students really love this one a lot. And this was a great time at Coolidge last year as well. If we can go to the next slide, please. And so once again, here's some photos from last year's Florence Water Festival, which is our coming up this year and in just a few weeks actually. But here's once again just students going through the groundwater models at that activity area where they're actually pulling water from wells in their models where they can actually see the dropping of the water table and better understanding that finite water resource that exists and the impact that surface water activities have on groundwater and how utilizing that does have an effect on the overall system. And then one more slide, please. Here's some photos of our Maricopa Water Festival, showcasing these different activities once again. And yeah, again, all of these festivals in Pinal County, we have a heavy support network from our high school students. So as Lisa and Kirsten were saying, we really do rely on them in showcasing this understanding to their fourth grade peers. And yeah, it's always a really fun and great day, and students really get a lot out of these programs. Just having these tactile learning, opportunities presented to them in their counties, and we found that teachers really enjoy the place-based learning as well, and better trying to integrate that into their classroom and how they can better showcase an understanding and a responsibility of water in their local areas.
There's our green
Next
team as well.
Yes.
Top left.
Yes.
Next slide, please. So when you're looking at it from a really solely academic perspective, this is the Arizona Water Festival unit of study. And that unit of study isn't just the field trip. It is inclusive of a 3-hour teacher professional development training where we'll talk a little bit more about that, but we talk specifically to teachers about the content, and it is all aligned with Arizona state standards. And really what the students are doing is they're answering the question, where is Arizona's water? And what are the connections between people, water, and heat in the environment? So they track the movement of water, they demonstrate how water moves through a watershed on models. They observe and measure the interactions between the landscape and the water. They model an aquifer and look at discharge and recharge, really get a peek below the surface. And then they also act as environmental stewards, talk about how their behaviors and their awareness shapes their water use. Next slide. So educator enrichment, and that is a 3-hour, 2-part teacher professional development. And the beauty of this is these are skills and resources that participating teachers get to dive into and keep. And our goal is for them to make connections, gain perspective, and foster kind of creativity when talking about water in the classroom.
Yeah, and I can just quickly add to that. So we had a class last night. We had 33 teachers, many from the Florence area last night. We've split the 3-hour online training into 2 1.5 sessions with multiple sessions available to make it easy on the teachers to join when they can. And then like Lisa mentioned, we make sure that we provide really easy experiments, hands-on, full body activities that the students can get involved with. Lessons and slideshows and lots of resources that the teachers get to walk away with, all with the hopes that if we inspire and really get the teachers enthusiastic about doing science, then the students are also going to be engaged and excited to do science.
And teaching about water systems really supports systems thinking, and then we incorporate kind of project-based problem solving. Next slide. So 42.6% of Pinal County's water is sourced from groundwater, and we want to make sure that our 4th graders know what it is, where it is, how it is utilized as a household water source, and what they can do to impact the health of their watershed, including the groundwater system. Next slide. So our scope of work when it comes to a water festival really incorporates all of those elements: the training for teachers, the 2-hour training for volunteers. It also includes 6 lessons that the teachers teach the students, with the water festival being kind of the anchor in the middle. So there's 3 pre-lessons, 3 post lessons. And that way the students are getting a well-rounded and multifaceted view of the system and their place inside of it. And our goal is at the end, 4th graders can put forward an evidence-based argument about the availability of water in their region and its impact on their lives. Next slide. The other component of Arizona Water Festivals, like I'd mentioned and Jennifer had mentioned, is this is a statewide program, but we have local expertise. So not only are we able to speak directly to the experiences in Pinal County or the Pinal AMA, but we also have an opportunity for high school students, community members, folks with careers in water to engage with students and talk about what's actually happening there. And we would like to continue to provide this program throughout the region, and our goal in 2026 is to build capacity, to be able to meet the needs of the growing community. And we'd like to ensure that all eligible schools or 4th grade classrooms wanting to join a festival in Pinal can access an event. And our request is $25,000 for a funding period of January 1st through December 31st. Next slide. We have a strong record of programmatic evaluation. So we have surveys that are self-reported with teachers, students, and volunteers. that allows us to evaluate as well as augment what we're doing to best meet the needs of our participants, and also to continue evolving best practices so that we have activities and programs that are accessible to students, teachers, and volunteers. We also collect and report participant counts across the teacher, student, and volunteer continuum. Next slide. So thank you very much for your time, your attention, your consideration. We are happy to answer any questions you may have about Arizona Project WET, the Arizona Water Festival, or our statewide reach. Last slide. So thank you so much for this opportunity. We are delighted to be here.
All right. Well, thank you, Lisa and Kirsten and Michael, for your presentation. Do the members have any questions, comments, or concerns? I do have a quick one for Lisa. I know you're statewide, but the 25,000 that you're requesting, is that to stay within the Pinal County AMA area?
It is. It is to stay within those 4 festivals in the Pinal County AMA area. So it would be Florence, Coolidge, Maricopa, and Casa Grande. Over the course of the year, our program, although we are at University of Arizona, we are shifting to a completely self-sustaining model.
Okay, this is Chairman Collins again. Does your program ever reach outside the AMA and cover the eastern portion of Pinal County? That's predominantly the San Pedro Valley.
I don't believe it does right now.
Is that an opportunity in the future to, go into the schools in like San Manuel, Mammoth, Kearney, Oracle, that county?
Yeah, so I think Kearney and San Manuel, we have tried with San Manuel a little bit, but we didn't have a lot of buy-in right away, so that's something we could definitely work on. We do work with Arizona Water Company because they also have customers in those areas, so they work with us as well to try to get those communities involved. And some of them do attend our South Gila Globe Water Festival. Some of the smaller communities sometimes will bus up there, but it is an ongoing thing that we are working on.
And would that include like the town of Superior?
Superior does, yes. They actually come to our Apache Junction Water Festival.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments for the team from Project WET?
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Miller here.
Mr. Miller, go ahead.
Is this the first year that we would be funding you? I didn't see any previous funding from us to your organization. Is that true?
Arizona Project WET has received funding from ADWR previously, but this would be the first funding of this type through the GUAC Pinal AMA.
And are there other sources that you receive revenue from? I mean,
there are.
Okay.
Yes, we both from regional nonprofit as well as water providers.
Good.
And really our goal is to make sure as priorities shift for different organizations or funding availability changes and costs increase, that we are able to not only continue what we're doing, but also grow the programs for any students or schools that want to participate, which also includes transportation to a festival if need be.
Okay. Well, I think you probably can tell I'm big on the education because I think we need to really press forward on that on future generations. So I'm supportive of these types of programs for sure.
Thank you. And we wholeheartedly invite you to join us at one of the festivals that's coming up. It sounds, I mean, it sounds cool in this presentation, but when you see it and you see hundreds of kids enthusiastically talking about sharing perspectives, just excited about water, it makes a really big impact.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments for Lisa and her team? I would drop back and ask the ADWR staff once again, like we did on the previous discussions, how does this, has this been factored into the graphs that you showed us earlier with respect to this additional ask to the funding from the GUAC?
This new project request is not included in that projection graph.
So that would accelerate the decline in revenues using the current 70 cents. Is that correct?
Yes. Would you like me to flip back to the chart to see the totals there?
Please.
Sure.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
It's do we have the capacity to fund this, and still, because we still have another action on 7. So, well, I see that's the withdrawal fees. But anyway, we need to make sure that we have the capacity. We're very supportive of these types of programs, but we have our own as well as the Pinal, the PICWA program as well, to try and maintain.
Yeah, so in this projection that you're seeing here, the PICWA and the IMS and the NREC, since those are considered our legacy contracts, that's what's included in that second to right column, the cost of WMAP legacy contracts. So those are all accounted for already. And so what we would be looking at is in the WMAP balance, reducing that by $25,000 for the 2026 balance, because that is the year that would be taken out there. And then if that were to be a continuously renewed project, we would see that $25,000 taken out down that whole column for as long as it is approved.
Yeah. On top of that, we would still have the additional 10,000 from the water, from the balance. So really, we're looking at a $35,000 deduct each of those years.
This one in particular is already accounting for that $10,000.
Oh, true. I'm sorry.
Yep, that's okay. There's 2 versions. So just to clarify, this is the one that does already account for that.
Right.
And then we do have those projections if the fee were to be increased 75 cents. And this one is also, again, including that increase of $10,000.
Okay. Members, what is the pleasure of the members on this particular item?
Well, if we knew we'd send a recommendation for 75 cents and it was held up and by the director, probably easier to go forward here, but we don't know. We will not know what the director's recommendation will be until what I hear 1st of October, or there is a date up there. I believe that he sets that number. Is that correct?
That is correct. That determination date is official as of October 1st.
Because we've set recommendations before and then it's not been upheld, and that's I mean that's okay. I mean I guess he has the prerogative to do that, but it's difficult to try and establish availability of funds if we don't really know what the revenue is going to be.
Thank you, Steve. Brian, do you have any thoughts on this?
I really don't. I'm supportive of the program. I like the idea of them being sustainable in the future. The question is funding. I'm a little bit confused on how we fund it. That's it.
Thank you, Brian. I can see this as a one-time ask at this point, pending some further evaluation of other issues going forward into the future years. I'm not sure at this point we could make it an annual renewal type item, but as a one-time ask, we could probably accommodate it. Any thoughts in regards to that?
Well, if we have the capacity for one-time funding, the motion would be for a one-time funding and then see where it goes for the future.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Let's add a dollar amount to that if we would, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it 20? Was it 25? I wrote it down. Yes, I wrote it. 25,000
Yes.
for one-time funding. Okay. And that is from January 1st to 26 to 12/30/26. I remember right.
Correct. Okay. So, Brian, are you good with that motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I am.
All right. So we have a motion to do a one-time funding in the amount of 25,000 for the period, 1-year period from January 1st to December 36. Excuse me, December 31st. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much.
And we'll once again revisit this next year should you come back.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. All right, let's move on to item number 7, which is the groundwater withdrawal fee recommendation. We've seen some slides indicating what the projections are, both at 70 cents and 75 cents. And we've also had some, additional asks. The 70 cents included the additional 10,000 for the NRC, but did not include it for Project WET. Any thoughts as to what kind of a recommendation you may want to make to the department going forward?
Well, I'd like to make a recommendation of Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes, Steve, go ahead.
Of 75 cents. And that, I don't know, Brian, how that really affects the farmers, but we're working a couple of different things here. We already have seen a decrease in pumping, the revenues from pumping. That can be for a number of reasons. I think there's a lot of fallowing, and I don't project the pumping really going up with ag to urban coming on board eventually. So you know, we're not going to increase pumping, so we're going to have to figure out a way if we want to maintain these kinds of funding ability. That being said, I kind of wish we did it the other way around, that we knew what if we would establish this and then have these asks come to us after we know what the rates are going to be. It's kind of doing it backwards in my mind. But if that's the recommendation I would put out there, and if we get to a point you want a motion, I'll be happy to do that.
Brian, do you have some thoughts on this?
I concur with what Supervisor Miller said. As far as raising the to 75 cents, you know, you hate to see prices go up, but I think it's acceptable.
Okay. Then I would accept a motion to that effect.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to set the rate at 75 cents this year.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the second.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Thank you, Brian. We have a motion to hold the WMAP withdrawal fee at 70 cents. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
75, didn't I say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the screen. Sorry.
Okay.
That's 75 cents. My apologies.
Okay.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Are any nays? Hearing none, motion carries. Staff, do we need a motion on the Water Bank Irrigation Efficiency Fund rate?
No, sir.
What happens to that after 2026?
Chair Collins, this is Rebecca Burnett, the manager of the Arizona Water Banking Authority.
Yes.
So after 2026, the collection of withdrawal fees in the Pinal IMA, so the Water Banking Authority will be collecting that money as we did before 2020.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Burnett.
Sure.
All right, then this moves us on to item number 8, which is the AMA Director Operation Report by Mr. David French. Mr. French, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, council members as well. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'll begin with our organizational update. As many of you know, our former AMA Director, Natalie Mast, has moved on to a new role with CAP, and we wish her well and thank her for her service. I now have the privilege of serving as one of 2 new AMA directors. My role ensures that the day-to-day operations of the AMAs are running smoothly, while also supporting critical programs like Ag to Urban. Olga Hart will serve as the other AMA director. She will be leading the efforts to manage newly regulated areas as groundwater challenges emerge across the state. This includes working across the department and in close coordination with the governor's office to identify, assess, and better manage Arizona's critical water supplies. These changes strengthen the AMA program by ensuring consistent operational oversight across existing programs and by positioning us to respond effectively as new regulatory needs arise. I also want to highlight leadership related to the GUAC operation. Taylor Pearson is serving as the AMA program supervisor and oversees the GUAC process. While our GUAC coordinator position remains vacant at this time, we're actively working to hire a replacement and are well on our way to filling that role. Across the state, a few relevant updates. The Wilcox and Douglas subsequent AMAs, following their designation, the department is working to establish the regulatory framework and management strategies for those areas. While separate from the Pinal AMA, the issues are interconnected. What happens in one AMA can inform policies in another The creation of these new AMAs underscores the importance of strong data, management tools, and local input in shaping the future of groundwater regulation across the state. At the same time, we know that Arizona's water future is closely tied to the Colorado River. The department is deeply engaged in negotiations with our basin partners and the federal government to develop post-2026 operating guidelines. The outcome of these negotiations will shape the entire state's water security. Reduced reliance on the river in central Arizona places added importance on the sustainable management of local groundwater supplies. In closing, I want to emphasize that while our challenges are significant, we are taking meaningful steps. Your continued engagement ensures that our work is grounded in the realities here on the ground. Thank you again for your time and your commitment to advancing sustainable water management, and I look forward to our discussion.
Thank you, Mr. French. Appreciate your update. Any questions for Mr. French? I do have one question, and I'm curious as I don't know whether you can answer this or not, but looking to see if you can give us an update on the Pinal partnership model update that was prepared by Matrix, and it was submitted some time ago as it relates to the groundwater model.
I can't give you an update at this time, sir, but that is definitely something that I could look into.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been kind of languishing for months now. My understanding that pretty much all the technical issues have been taken care of, but we haven't heard anything back in the Pinal partnership arena with respect to its status.
And you said this was the model that was submitted by Matrix?
Yes. Yeah, it was submitted.
Yeah.
Multiple updates to it. Corrections were made over about the last year. I think the last submittals for revisions were back in April. Won't swear to that, but about that time frame.
Asking that question.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I said, thanks for asking that question. Yeah, that has been out there. I almost forgot that we had a model that we'd not heard. You know, if we were going to be able to use that as the baseline for the Pinal AMA.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's something I can follow up on. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know there's been other competing issues like egg to urban and some like that have been rather distracting, but yeah, it'd be nice to get an update on it. Thank you. With that, we will move on to item number 9, call to the council. Do any of the members have anything they would like to bring up at this point in time? I would like to point out that the Pinal County Water Augmentation Committee is in the final weeks of its pilot cloud seeding program. We will finish it up at the end of this month, and hopefully by the end of October we will have some data to identify how effective it's been. You know, this is the first time in the state that you know, summer cloud seeding has been performed, and for some interesting results. At this point in time, I would then issue the call to the public. Is there anyone from the public who would wish to speak at this point in time?
I would like to direct you, Mr. Chairman, to the chat. Are you able to open and review the chat? We do have a member that has posted in there. I'm also happy to read it out loud.
If you would, please.
Sure. So we have Robert Mason and had posted in our chat here. My name is Robert Mason with the University of Arizona Cooperative Extension. We are partnering with the Agribusiness and Water Council of Arizona to create a master irrigator program to provide training to farmers and commercial irrigators of Arizona. We are now creating course content and are scheduled for our first course in spring. We are seeking funding to help support our videographer, who is a cooperative extension employee, and experience with creating extension videos and online on-demand coursework accredited by California and Arizona Departments of Agriculture. So in response to your, I guess, request for funding there, Robert, if you are interested in applying for our WMAP funding, that is something to do online at our azwater.gov website. You'll find the Water Management Assistant Program with a funding application there. And then as you've seen in the presentations today, once the application has been reviewed and intaked by the department, it is then presented in front of the council for recommendation to the director. And then Robert has also posted just compliments to the presentations today for IMS and for the NREC. And yes, more comments as well from Jennifer Salcido based on the Arizona Project WET.
Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate that. Are there any further comments from the public?
Robert there also just added if we could provide Eddie's contact information for IMS. Eddie, if you would like to email myself personally, the tpearson@azwater.gov, if you're willing to share that contact information. And Robert, if you would email me as well. Oh, I see your email there. Hopefully that loop can be connected then.
Yes, I can.
Okay.
And it's on my
Wonderful.
presentation on the first page.
Okay, and these presentations will be posted on our azwater.gov website under the public meeting content, as well as if you navigate through the AMAs to the GUACs, you'll be able to find this meeting content.
All right, thank you again, Taylor. That was most appreciated. If there are no other comments from the public, I would then adjourn the meeting at 11:33. I thank you all for your attendance.
Thank you.
Thank you. See everyone.
Yep, take it easy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council.
Yep, thank you to
Thank
the your staff for all of your.
Thank you all.